Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 delivers a memorable medieval adventure packed with atmosphere and attention to detail. In my experience, it pushes the series forward in some great ways, especially when it comes to world building, but it still has a few rough edges. As always, individual experiences may vary, but these are the impressions that stayed with me. One of the biggest changes is the combat, and not all of it is for the better. Fights feel noticeably slower and more cumbersome compared to the first game, and some of the combo animations look a bit off. The most limiting change is the attack system. Sword fighting now only has 4 directions of attack, while other weapons are limited to only 3. In the first game, combos felt more natural, because the combo pattern and larger number of attack directions tightened perfectly with the weapon's momentum. Swing from the top and it flowed downward, from the left and it carried through to the right. That made chaining attacks feel intuitive. Now with more restrictive attack directions, some combos require you to strike 2 or 3 times from the same side, which feels forced and unnatural, breaking the fluidity of combat. As you can see in the following few clips.
You out? You out? Damn! Damn!
That said, they did fix one of the biggest issues players had with the first game, Master Strikes. In Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 they are harder to pull off. You now have to counter from the opposite side of your enemy's attack, which makes them feel more rewarding when timed right. It also gives players a way to avoid getting hit by Master Strikes themselves. Fighting multiple enemies has also changed. In the original, group fights could be brutally difficult, with enemies surrounding you and attacking from every angle. In Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, the AI seems a bit more passive. Enemies are less aggressive and often wait their turn to strike. It makes combat more manageable, sure, but it also takes away some of the tension that made battles feel so intense before. And on that note, I haven't found any boss fights or major enemy encounters in this one that come close to the intensity or presence of Rund from the first game, which is a bit disappointing. Graphically, Kingdom Come Deliverance is a massive leap forward. Whether you're walking through the busy streets of Kuttenberg or standing on a hill overlooking the beautiful Bohemian countryside, the world looks stunning. Everything from the environment to the armor, clothing and weapons is dripping with detail and care. Even better, it's well optimized. The first game, even today, can be tough to run smoothly in places like Rattay, but Deliverance 2 runs great right out of the gate with consistent performance and a noticeable lack of stuttering or weird drops. This is one area where immersion can really take a hit. While the world generally feels alive and reactive, the behavior of NPCs sometimes pulls you out of the experience. There are moments where your choices should have clear emotional weight, but the game doesn't fully follow through. For example, during one quest, a character's life is in your hands. If you manage to save them, they'll later show up alive and well, but no one acknowledges it, not even the character themselves. It's a moment that should have felt impactful but instead falls flat due to the lack of any in-world recognition. Another case, depending on your choices, someone close to an NPC can end up dying. The NPC will react in the world, shout at you, act angry if you get too close, but the second you actually start a conversation with them, they'll behave like everything is totally fine. It creates a very strange disconnect where the writing and the AI aren't quite on the same page. These moments don't ruin the game by any means, but they can definitely chip away at the immersion when they happen. The story kicks off strong. Act 1 introduces relatable characters, emotional stakes, and a great reason why Henry is basically starting over. It makes sense and it doesn't feel forced. You also get to make some meaningful choices early on. Without spoiling anything, a few decisions in the first act have noticeable consequences, and the way the world reacts to your actions adds a lot of weight to your role in it. That kind of interactivity is something the second act unfortunately lacks. As the story moves forward, the pacing starts to feel rushed. Some scenes would have worked better as cutscenes instead of short, jarring gameplay segments. Playing as Godwin, for example, totally took me out of the experience of being Henry and didn't add much for me. While much of the core gameplay remains similar to the first game, there are a few changes and additions worth highlighting. For one, I actually liked the new riding system. It might not be for everyone, but I found it smoother and more responsive once I got the hang of it. The game offers a wide variety of animals to hunt, which is great for immersion, but hunting itself feels a bit underutilized. Unless you're role-playing, there is not much practical incentive to engage with it, which in my opinion is a shame. Cosmetic options are a nice touch and add some welcome change to Henry himself, letting you shape his look more than before. Speaking of looks, the ability to store up to 3 outfits and switch between them at will was an amazing addition. It saves time, supports different playstyles, and just makes sense in a game where what you wear really matters. Crafting your own weapons was also a welcome addition. It's well integrated into the perk and character system, and it feels like a natural progression for a blacksmith's son. It's a great addition, especially since only you can craft the best weapons in the game, making it genuinely worth leveling up your craftsmanship skill. I was especially happy to see that the alchemy system is still around, and even better than before. It keeps it hands-on, immersive style, but adds a few new improvements that make it even more enjoyable. It remains one of the best potion crafting systems in any RPG, in my opinion. The side quests here are excellent, often just as good if not better than the main storyline. They're well written, varied, and filled with interesting characters and moral grey areas. And if you like poking around the edges of the world, you'll be rewarded. There are some genuinely fun and creative Easter eggs scattered throughout, and they're never overdone, just enough to make you smile when you stumble across one. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is a beautiful, ambitious sequel that brings medieval Bohemia to life better than ever. It improves in key areas like visuals, performance, storytelling, system depth, but it also drags along some issues, especially with combat fluidity, inconsistent AI, and a second act that doesn't quite hit the mark, for me at least. Still, if you've loved the first game, you'll likely feel right at home here. There is a lot to dig into, and while it's not without flaws, it's absolutely worth the ride.